Good morning, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, we're in the kitchen with the seed starting setup over here. Today my plan is to get all of the tomatoes into cups. I showed it on my recent garden, but these are the ones that we had done together last time. I did a lot into the cups without having the video on, and I need to do this tray, and there's a tray behind it, and then there's 2 trays down there at the bottom that need to get transplanted into their cups. Oh, there's another tray back there that hasn't been separated yet either, so I need to separate and transplant those ones out too. And then over here I have 3 trays that I already did. So after I do transplanting, I need to water everything, and then I want to, probably not today, but at some point, separate these out and keep them in these smaller trays still. I'll put them into these trays and these trays. These are the pepper plants, and I just want them to be in their own separate containers. And I'm realizing very quickly that I don't have space to keep everything that I want to in here. So I have a couple of ideas to help that out, but I am also going to have to get rid of a few plants. When I started the seeds, I started in 3 or 4 spots per square, and I put 2 seeds, I think. Yeah, there's 2 seeds in each spot for the ones that I had enough seeds to do that with. So my plan was to get 3 or 4 plants out of each one of these squares, but I was not planning for every single seed to actually germinate. In some of the spots you can see they didn't all germinate, and you can also see some of them died a little bit, like that one, because I accidentally let them dry out a little too much. These ones are all dead, but there's one alive in there still. So this tray got a little dried out and ended up thinning itself for me. But up here at the front, you can see especially there's 8 plants in this square, 7 plants in that square. Over on this tray, move the light over, you can see that many of these squares have 8 plants in them when I only planned for 4 plants in them. So this is one that I had already separated out, and they're already getting bigger and doing great, so I need to get everybody separated out. I am not good at culling plants. I can't take a plant that looks like this, that's perfect and beautiful, and say, sorry, you don't get to live. I have a really hard time with that. And I realize that it's for the better for the rest of the plants, but I'm a softie, I guess. So what my plan is for at least the tomatoes is I have another shelf that's like this one, but it's a little bit narrower. And it's out in my backyard. And I will be putting trays of tomatoes on that. And then if I need some more space, I can find another surface out there. I'm looking out there. There's a table I could put them on. But our temperatures have been in the 60s and 70s for highs. So I'm sure tomato plants, even with the 40s at night, will be totally fine out there. And they'll get their light from the sun. And then I don't have to buy more grow lights. I do have another shelf I'm going to move in here, but I only have 1 more set of grow lights. And I don't want to have to buy more. So we're going to use the sun when we can. I'm going to start filling up some cups. Before I start, I wanted to talk a little bit about the materials I'll be using. I got everything at Walmart because I was grocery shopping already. So I got these trays that are big. I used to have these ones, and they work fine. They hold, I think, 12 cups. I have one of them outside with cups in it. I think it was 12. This is how wide my shelf is outside, so one of these will fit on it fine. These ones are wider. They will hold 15 cups. And then these are just the little, these are the cups, just cheap plastic Walmart cups. They're the 16-ounce Great Value plastic cups. Nothing fancy. I don't know if you can see it with the soil, but I'm going to try. There's a slit right there in the bottom. Oh yeah, you can see that fine. So before I fill them up with soil, I put slits in the bottom on 2 sides. So that side and that side. so that way they can soak up the moisture while they're in the trays. And that's how I water everything. I bottom water. And I like the clear cups because when they start developing roots, you can see it. I just think it looks cool. With the clear cups, you can also see if there's moisture in there. You can see a little bit on this one. There's some condensation on the edges. But when you water, you can actually watch the water level going up the side of the cup as it absorbs. So I think that's fun to watch. And if you don't use clear cups, if you use whatever else, normal plastic cups, or you can use actual seed starting stuff, it all works fine. I mean, do what works for you. This is what works for me. And I also like that I can write directly on the cup what they are. I do need to add labels to everything, but I need to order a new UV resistant marker first. I have reused cups from year to year. I have a few this year that I used last year. But for the most part, I just recycle them when I'm done. I know a lot of people are very against plastic, which is fine. Don't use cups then. For me, at this point in my life, this is what makes the most sense for me to do. And maybe in the future, I'll be able to invest in different materials. But for now, this is what I'm doing. And if you don't like it, that is completely okay. I am noticing as I get down further in this soil that there's some big dry clumps, and a lot of it is more dry than I want it to be. So I'm going to move on to putting tomatoes in the cups that we have filled already. And I'm going to boil a pot of water to pour into here. I was asked recently how I avoid fungus gnats when I'm growing so many plants in my kitchen. And short answer is I don't, but long answer is I pour boiling water over my soil before I plant in it. Sorry, I'm filling up my pot right now so I can watch it. But I boil water and I pour that into the soil to kill any eggs that may be in there. I have to moisten the soil anyways, so I do it with boiling water, and I feel like it's helped. But, I mean, it's only been a month or so. I'll let you know in a few months if it's actually completely helped. But that's what I'm doing right now. Filling up a pot, putting it on the stove, and then I will start planting those tomatoes in the cups we got already filled. We got 4 trays filled. That is 76 cups filled in 4 trays. So that should be enough to get us a good start. All right, I made it halfway through a tray before realizing that I didn't hit record. Halfway through this tray, not this tray. But what I'm doing is much the same as last time. Pulling them out, and if it has a label, I'll stick the label in the cup. And if there's 2 plants, then I will have to write on the next cup. But Tomato plants are pretty forgiving with their roots, so you can tease them apart, and if you break some of them, it's not that bad. Using my chopstick, I'm going to make a big deep hole in this cup and then guide those roots down to the bottom as far as I can. And then I'm sticking the stem of the plant down in there really deeply too. So this plant that was a couple inches tall is only an inch or so now out of the soil. And I did not fill the cups all the way up because as the plant grows, I will add some more soil. So the root system for this plant is going to be all the way the depth of the cup by the time we're done with it. Actually could have gone a little deeper with that one, but that's all right. Right on the next cup. Brandywine, pink tomato. And then I write whether it's determinate or indeterminate, because nobody wants to get a spot where you think you're getting a determinate tomato and turns out you have an indeterminate that's then going to sprawl everywhere and get way bigger than you planned. So I always make sure to note that. This one has a lot of soil in the roots. We'll take the second one and we'll stick it down inside that hole again. And then we'll repeat that 70 more times. All right, these all need to be watered in, so I'm not putting them under the lights yet. Just gonna slide them all over there. And then I will count how many tomatoes I have left on this tray and then the one other tray over there. And then I will fill up those cups with the soil. And after that, I will come back and we will finish planting these together. All right, I counted 37 tomato plants, and each of my trays holds 18. So I decided I can just not plant one or maybe double plant one, and we'll have 2 trays worth. So I am going to get these finished up now. And you can tell since I put in that warm water, these cups got a little condensation on the outside. That's not going to cause any problems, and the soil is not hot anymore. It's just the water was warm still a little bit. are finished. We planted 6 trays with 18 tomatoes in each tray. Do some quick math and tell me what that is. Ready, set, go. So now I have to clean up and figure out where the heck I'm going to put all of these tomatoes, because I know for sure they're not going to fit on my shelf I just took them off of. But that's okay. Like I said before, I'm going to have a shelf of tomatoes outside because it's sunny outside. Thank you for coming and watching me do this fun, big, time-consuming task. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you come back for the next one. Bye!